Hello. The title of this podcast is Are You Seeing the Entire Picture or an Edited Version of that Picture? This is inspired by my, my colleague and friend, John Christian. We work together at Mayo Clinic and we are in a well-being group together. And he's been on this journey with me for over 6 months, along with some others. And we have a small group, but it is a really, really great group. And we do the practice. And every 2 weeks we come together and we talk about how it is like really making a difference in our lives, not just and what I mean by that is the application of it. And John is great at sharing about how it's showing up for him. He is an amazing father. He's dedicated to his work and he's also in school at the same time. And so he's quite busy. With that being said, as a father, he and his spouse recently had an event at home in which their daughter fell ill. And he shared that with us because we have a very open and vulnerable environment in which we share with each other. And in doing so, obviously, everyone that was on that thread, on our well-being group text thread, expressed concern and sent prayers and meditations and positive vibes to his daughter for a full recovery and for the family. And John just really appreciated. And a couple of days, maybe a week later, I checked in with John, and I have continued to do so, asking about his daughter. So he sent a text, and he just said, I really love this group, and the support I've received is something really special. I'll never forget it, is what John shared. And like John, the compassion and support I felt from others, touches me deeply, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I've been surrounded by groups like this my entire life. I mean, every step of the way, I've been surrounded by groups. My appreciation for them hasn't been what it is now. And the reason for that is I lack awareness of the gift of that moment. And with those individuals, with those groups in those communities. And the reason is because I was so identified or trapped in my mind, the suffering that my mind was causing, that I missed out on it. I've talked many times, you've heard me talk about my military experience, that there were a few people around me who were conscious, who were peaceful, and they were there to create a community with me. But because I was so trapped with my complaining about where I was stationed and how different it was from what was promised to me by the Marine Corps recruiters, about the heat, you name it, I complained about it, and I was in the grips of it. Something happened in the world politically, I had an opinion on it and a strong one about it. And so all of that was just creating barriers. It was coming into this picture, this objective picture of what was happening, that snapshot. And there was all this editing that my mind was doing. It was removing the sunrises. It was removing the beautiful trees or the desert landscape. It was amusing the chirping birds, the occasional breeze during the summertime. It was moving all of that from it. Opportunities to go and be on the water or take trips to, California from being stationed in Yuma, or present day. It was removing the contributions of friends, their hellos, the lunches, the breakfasts together, because my mind was thinking about the next thing, or I was busy ruminating about something else that had happened. So along the way, these default settings, this unconscious mind was editing every single picture, every single place that I was at, every single moment was being edited, and it was being replaced. These beautiful pictures were being replaced by this edited version. And that's how I was seeing, experiencing the world. So much suffering. Every once in a while, there would be a novel moment that would creep through. Perhaps it was a Friday, and I felt the weight of the previous days that made of the week lifted. And so I felt a bit of bliss. It's a hard way to live when you're living through an edited version. And it's not the world that's editing it. I was editing it. And then one day you become free of it. And then you have what John just shared, what John just expressed. Being grateful for this moment, for these people, for this group. You have that. Now, why only have that sparingly? Why not have it all the time? especially if the primary source that's creating the barriers is your own mind, which was the case with me. And then once I became aware of that, my work became being free of it. And so every day that something happens, I'm looking to be free of that. I'm looking at taking the filters off where the sunshine and the sunrises are not a part of my morning when I'm driving to work, because the edited version was the poor driver in front of me. And that edited version was making me miss the sunrises. You know, the edited version is getting to work and people driving too slow to park because I ran late. I'm trying to get in the building in time to get to a meeting. That's the edited version. But if I take out the filter, what I see are these amazing human beings all walking toward the building to provide amazing, life-saving care for patients, game-changing contributions to their colleagues. That's what I'm missing out on by being in those default settings, that edited version, being trapped in my own thoughts. I think it's the world. No, it's my subjective interpretation of the world, internalizing things, identifying with them, and then creating an enemy of them. And then having the unconsciousness to think that that I'm not the one who's actually doing this and creating it, but I am. But I've got to this place again that I'm taking the filters off. And what I see is what John saw. These amazing people. It is just absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal what I get to see every single day. I mean, every day is amazing to me. And this is not, gloss over about all the things in the world that could be different or that can be improved upon. If I can do something to affect that, I will do it. But it'd be rooted in peacefulness, which is much different than the way that I tried to orchestrate change before. This is such a better way to live. I mean, every day, it's a good day. So I invite you to consider the picture in which you are viewing the world. What does that picture look like? Is it free of filters and you see all the goodness in people and situations? Or is it being edited by your mind's default settings? Try that on. And if it's the latter, dedicate yourself to doing the work so you can see it objectively and see all the goods that's out there. Thank you, John Christian, for inspiring this podcast.